Now in this video, I want to show you a little bonus, one of my favorite tools. And a lot of times when you're troubleshooting something like this, when you're using REST type interfaces, you want to be able to see what's actually going on across the wire. Now, there's a lot of browser tools that you can use, but they don't always show you the full picture. Sometimes I like to actually get in and see what is actually going on in the HTTP requests that are going between the client and the backend server. And one tool we have at our disposal is TCPMON, and this is access tool TCPMON. And actually, we'll close out this dialog here. Actually, I'm just going to widen it. Sorry about that. So what we can do is say, listen on 8080, which is the port that Spring Boot has been running on under Tomcat. And what we can do is redirect this to 8081. And this is going to act as a proxy. So rather than Spring Boot running on 8080, like it has been in this course, we're going to run this on 8080, and we're going to listen to traffic. And then it's going to act as a proxy, or kind of a proxy / listener, and shuffle traffic to and from it. So let's go ahead and add that. And now we can see that we are listening on port 8080, and all traffic is going to be going back and forth to 8081. Now there is one piece of configuration we need to change. Resize this. If we come under Resources, Config, Application YAML, under Server, we come in and do Port, Server Port. Now we want to override 8080, which is the default, and have Spring Boot start up on 8081. So let's go ahead and start this up now. I'm going to toggle over to the command line, same command line we had before, and just need to restart Spring Boot. And this is going to come up and run. And this is going to be listening on 8081 now. And the front end isn't going to know any different. It's still going to be looking at 8080, and that's going to go against our access TCPMON process, which is going to be acting as a traffic cop. And we came up on 8080, which is not something I wanted. So let's close this and double check that. So I'm going to look at the dev there. And that here's the problem, because it comes up under the dev profile, which is more specific. Now, make that little change there. And we'll restart that. Make sure it does come up under 8081, not 8080. And we can see that we are just about up and running. Almost. There we are. Now we are running on 8081, exactly where we wanted. So now let's go ahead and start this guy. And this is going to run on the same port as before, localhost 9000, just like we were running before. And it's still going to be pointing to port 8080. And that's going to get handled by TCPMON. And see, we're almost up. Now we are up and running. I'm going to toggle over to Chrome here. Let's go ahead, hit refresh. And now we are up and running. And if I come over here, we can see the variety connects that we're getting. So now we're seeing the full request there. Let's go ahead and log in. Resize my window a little bit here. So now let's come in and take a look at this entity here. And I'm going to come in and just, let's widen this out a little bit. And just clicking remove all to clear the chatter. And I want to see this. When I come in here and click on that, we can see that that made a request. And if we look at this, we can see what happened is we had this get, we had a get request, and here's the actual response. So we can see that there's a lot going on in there as far as the HTTP headers that are being set. So we can see exactly what's going on. We can see the cookie that's being passed. So this is the raw HTTP that is being passed between the browser and our backend Spring Boot process. So this is a real handy tool when you have something weird going on. Sometimes it makes sense to go in and check out, see exactly what's going on, because you can see all your headers and all the chatter between the client and your backend server, as well as the exact payload that was exchanged. So that this is like, for me, when something weird is happening, this is where I go to figure stuff out. It's like, okay, let's go and see what's really going on between these two characters, what they're really talking about, what's really being set. So this is kind of like good solid source of truth. Now, TCPMON is, I'm showing you it running inside of IntelliJ as an IntelliJ plugin. This is something that you have to install. It's the Access TCPMON. You do have to install this. It is optional. I've used it for years. For you guys on Windows, I do believe that there is a standalone TCPMON client that you can download. It's stable. I think development stopped on it a few years ago. But as far as I know, it will work for you Windows guys, but I'm not 100% sure. But I did want to show you this tool. Now, inside of things like Firefox Developer and Chrome DevTools, you can also see very similar information when you look at the network tab. So that's another handy thing to bring up and look at. But this is one of my favorite things because I can use it with a variety of clients. If I have something else coming to it, not a web browser or not a web browser under my control perhaps, or a process that is exercising a API where it's not running in a web browser, this is a great way to sniff the HTTP traffic and see exactly what's going on.